Welcome back. Well, joining me in the studio now is Tsuana Nhlapo, who is the Chief Director. In fact, she is not the Chief Director. She's an executive member of the Sharpeville Foundation. And also in the studio is Kay Sehwale, who is a blogger. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Tracy.
I think the both of you really are social commentators. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Social activists.
Social activists.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so every time you sort of say something, there's a deeper message, there's a meaning. It's deepening the conversation. Is that right?
Yeah, it's taking it further from just face value. I know everybody's in mourning right now, but we also need to ask serious questions. So I guess me and you, this is what we're here for, to say, okay, take it further, go beyond just the face value, just beyond the saint, and take it a bit further and understand the whole context of what Madiba is.
So the serious questions, in your opinion, are what? What should we be asking ourselves now as South Africans?
I think that South Africans should ask themselves, what contribution can they make? What can they learn from the legacy of Madiba? And also, in learning from Madiba, how can they take that forward into their own lives, into their own communities, and make South Africa a better place? Get up and do something.
Because Mteto was saying, Nana, you know, start at home. Start with a family discussion. But I still feel as though we need to go, there's something more. We're missing something somewhere.
Well, I think the beauty about Madiba is that he's so vast as one person. So you can choose one aspect of him and take that a bit further. The other can choose to be a revolutionary and take that a bit further. But I agree with what he's saying. I'm raising two children. They see everything as beautiful in South Africa. Whereas where I grew up from Sharpeville, and the residue of apartheid still lingers there. And we, compared to the rest of the world, I should think, felt it a bit harder. And I mean, that was the turning point of what the struggle became. So with my children, they think now we're living in the suburb and everything is cool. But we need to take it a bit further and explain to them that this did not come cheap. And like he always says, Mandela, that it was not only him. There were other people. There were other ordinary citizens that were taking this struggle to what it is today. So if we're a rainbow nation today, it's all good. And we need to appreciate where we come from, I think.
And Kay, how do you feel the loss of Madiba? How are you feeling it yourself?
It is so painful in so many ways. It was expected, but we did not know when to expect it. But at the same time, we were prepared for it in other ways. You know, there's been a lot of chatter ever since he went to hospital the first time and he started to become very ill. But I think it's very difficult to let go. You see the outpouring that has been going on in the last few days. You see how hurt South Africans are. It's cut deep into the heart of society holistically. Society from all communities. And like she said, it just means different. Madiba just meant different things to different people. And he was a unifier in his way, and he was a global unifier, not just a local one. And I think that this is a loss, a huge loss, one of the greatest people that's ever lived.
And I think that sense of loss is really going to only realize itself on Sunday. It's when you see the coffin.
When it goes down.
When it goes down. Although we're not going to be privy to that because the family have said that it's a moment for the family, which I think is actually quite remarkable as well.
Yeah.
There must be privacy somewhere.
Must be privacy, and it is. He is a family man at the end of the day. But what we saw in Pretoria the last 3 days is people chatting and sort of enjoying life and enjoying the weather and, you know, having a good time, sharing together as South Africans. And then they get to the body, and then there's this absolute silence. How do you think things are going to change from Monday?
From Monday, I really hope that this coming together of South Africans to reflect on issues, various issues. I mean, a lot has come up in the last few days. I really hope that we continue with that thought process of internalizing issues that are happening around us. I mean, next year we're going into elections and people need to reflect also around society and just, you know, come to an introspection of self, really to ask themselves, what is it that I can do to contribute further?
Tsuana, you are the executive member of the Sharpeville Foundation, and you were talking about there's always a reminder of actually where we come from, and you look at what has happened in Sharpeville, and out of the ashes has come. It's really a symbol of hope, isn't it?
It really is, and I'll always admire Madiba for what he did. Two things. In 1910, there was a treaty that was done in Vereeniging where the Afrikaners were excluding us from what South Africa is. And then 1996, when he signed the constitution into law, he said, I'll go back there, but I'll go back to where the people are. So he went and signed the constitution back into Sharpeville. So that, I thought it was very remarkable. It means our region holds the two extremes of what South Africa is about. And this is what we should take pride of. Like you're saying, rising from the ashes. He did that remarkably, and wherever he is, we thank him for that.
And you're sounding optimistic and hopeful?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. A lot of grief has been felt. A lot of blood has been shed. We cannot now start and go back and reverse everything that was done. What I think will happen from Monday is that responsibility, that it's easy to say Tracy will do it and you know something will run smoothly. But now that Tracy is not there, we have to be the responsible one. So each and every South African must now take up their position and take this journey forward.
We don't have him anymore. We do not have him anymore to protect us and to buffer us.
Yes.
And you're right, we have to take responsibility.
Yes, we have to take responsibility and to buffer us even from the psychological block. You know, there are communities that have been concerned about the passing of Madiba. What does it mean for them going forward? Everybody needs to take responsibility. Those people need to take responsibility. We need to, you know, we all need to find a way to deal with this in a positive manner going forward, not just hanging on to the past necessarily, but healing from the past and using our pain constructively.
Well, thank you very much. Ladies, thanks very much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you, Tracy.
Well, that brings an end to our show this evening, and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, live on 3, broadcast here on SABC 3 at 3 o'clock. And again, tomorrow evening, I'll be back here in the seat from 8. So thanks very much for joining us, playing out this evening with Maria Makeba. Good night.